Hello. Hi, Shannon. Nice to see you. Carol, good morning. It's yoga time. Lauren, good morning. Nice to have you here. Cindy, good morning. Happy Thursday. Jeannie, good morning. How's everyone doing? I just had to run to get my timer because when I teach, I have a clock that I use to keep track of the seconds. So to keep our 30-second holds that I like to use in this work, because that's what the studies were using, is a 30-second count. And so I like to use that. So it looks like we have a little guest here today. Let's see if she gets disruptive. Good morning, Dina. Nice to see you. All right, ladies. So I'd like to get started today. And Lynn, good morning. Yes, welcome back. This is my fourth class this week, Lynn. I taught on Tuesday through the hospital, Torrance Memorial. Then I taught yesterday 2 classes, Yoga for Wellness and my chair class. And then this is my fourth class this week. So I'm excited, so grateful actually to have this practice. So I'm gonna move over here. Yeah. I was speaking with somebody this week and she said, you're so lucky that what you're doing in your life is about being healthy. And I really thought about what she's saying. And I've been thinking about this whole week about how amazing it is that, well, for me, I quite often say, let's be grateful for the practice of yoga, because to me, yoga is the answer. It's the way to keep the body strong, the mind strong. It's the way to deal with the pressures and the stresses of life, which eventually lead to breakdown. And even when we're talking about bones, the bone remodeling process is a constant process, building, breaking down, or building, cleaning up. The breakdown is actually a cleaning up process. So it's a constant process in our body, just like every other body system, taking care of and managing itself. And stress in our lives contributes to a dysfunction in that process and leads to more bone breakdown than build up. So she said, you're so lucky you have this. And I thought, I'm so grateful for this practice, for this raised awareness around the physical part of the practice and how important it is to keep our body strong and limber, range of motion in our joints, alignment in our spine and joints. So today, let's be starting off with this gratitude that we have this beautiful practice in all the guidance of all the teachers and all of the scientists that did like Dr. Fishman, who did the evidence-based research on certain poses that help to stimulate the bones in particular areas. So for today's practice, we're going to begin on our backs, because I'd like to bathe our spine and bring the fluids that have been squished out from sitting or standing, which is what we do most of our days. We're sitting or standing and we're compressing or squeezing out the fluids from the joints. So I'd like us to begin by coming onto the ground, helping to correct some posture, getting our mental energy to ground to this present moment, and allowing the fluids to go back into the joints. So we're going to begin like that. For this, I'd like to begin with a chair, to put our legs up the chair, because it will also help to settle the hip joint, to help balance the pelvis, and to ground that mental energy. So we're going to have a chair if you have one, and if you don't, that's okay. Go ahead and get some pillows that you could prop your legs up on. And if this is not something you have as part of your normal practice in life, I highly recommend putting your legs up a chair or the wall or on blankets, because it can really help, first of all, give your heart a break for blood pressure. And also it really is very helpful for calming the nervous system. And we all need to learn calming nervous system tools. You will need one blanket for sure for today's practice. You will need a strap for today's practice and a block. And if you don't have one of these, find something that you could use instead of these props. And then we're going to, I'm going to use a separate blanket because it feels a little chilly. And my chair is actually made out of, I guess, aluminum. And so it actually holds the chill. So I'm going to put my blanket here. I'm going to sandwich my feet in here. So it'll be really nice. And it's so lovely when we do some really nice acts of self-care and we take care of ourselves, especially as women, because we're so often taking care of others, whether that's human beings or furry creatures. Or I guess you could be taking care of fish or turtles or lizards or whatever, so they don't all have fur. All right, so we're gonna come down onto the ground, and if you do have osteoporosis, it's not so much with osteopenia, but with osteoporosis, you wanna make sure that you're not putting a lot of force on the front of your spine. So we're gonna come down onto the ground, let your hand go to the side, and bring yourself onto the ground, and then go ahead and set yourself up for success. So when I say set yourself up for success, I mean we want our minds to calm down and slow down. And for that to happen, we need to be comfortable. So if you do have your legs on a chair, you want your entire calf to be supported. So don't have, you want the back of your knee joint to be all the way up against whatever it's being supported with. Definitely feeling a little chilly. So go ahead and place your legs on whatever they're going to be on, and you could also have your legs straight if you'd like. And then the blanket goes underneath the head and the neck, not the upper back. So try to just support your head here. And then dig your arms into the floor. Slide your shoulder blades closer to your spine so that you have the shoulder blades in position, and then it's up to you. If you'd like to do a little more correction for posture here, you could take your arms out to the side, bending your elbows in whatever location allows you to put the backs of the hands on the floor. And then you're going to, in the other hand position, if that wasn't good, you could bring your hands onto your tummy. And I will say from a nervous system perspective, to have your arms open out to the side is a much more vulnerable position for the body. So for some, this may be a little stimulating. And if that's you and you need to ground your energy and be more in a introspective or a protective place, you could place your hands on your belly, or one on your belly, one on your heart. So close your eyes and see what your body is directing you towards today. The practice of the yoga is a practice inward. It's a work in, and it's a connection of you to you, mind, body, soul. It's deeper than an exercise. Close your eyes and take a couple of breaths to arrive, to let the dust settle, to let the mind slow down. I'd like to guide you through a breath work that is a rhythmic breath pattern. It's called Savitri Pranayama. It's the shape of a rectangle. I will count 6 on the inhale, 3 to hold your breath at the top of your inhale, 6 on the exhale, and 3 to hold your breath at the end of your exhale. Making this rectangle shape, 6 inhale, 3 hold, 6 exhale, 3 hold. If you'd like to visualize the shape in your mind, if you'd like to count along with me, count along with me. Anything you could do to preoccupy or direct your mental energy to your breath is very beneficial for stress management, for present moment living, and to help heal and calm your body and mind. So before we begin, move yourself into a position, wriggle, wiggle, wiggle, see if you need to actually get your
giggles or sillies out. See if you need to move to find a little more comfort. We're going to take 3 breaths with a sigh or a big exhale. And when we do this, the exhale is releasing weight. So it could either be physical weight of your bones and your body, or it could be emotional weight. If you're dealing with something in your life right now that's weighing you down, you could exhale whatever that is out of your body, out of your mind. 3 big breaths with 3 big exhales that are like sighs. S-I-G-H-S, sighs. All right, let's prepare. Take 1 little exhale. Now take a big inhale. Ah. 2 more. Ah. 1 more. Close your mouth. Focus on your breath. Feel the heaviness of the body on the floor or the chair or wherever it is. Feel the legs, the arms. Feel the pelvis, the spine, and the head. Let's prepare for our rhythmic rectangular breath. Take an exhale. Let's begin. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Continue on your own, counting your breath. 6 on the inhale, 3 for the hold, 6 on the exhale, and 3 for the hold. Stay with your breath. Keep counting. And finish the breath cycle you're on and take 3 more breath cycles like this. When you finish that last breath, let the breath go. Give your breath back to your body and then become an observer, as if you were standing above yourself, noticing the pace of your breath. Following it in, notice what parts of your body moves with breath. Notice where the breath goes when you allow it to do what it's doing. Then bring your awareness to your fingers, to your toes as you begin to move your fingers, move your toes, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And then bring your hands up in the sky. Let's walk the feet closer to the body and take the legs up in the sky, and then shake your limbs. Let the arm bones and the leg bones sink deeply into the sockets, the hips and the shoulders. A lot of people are experiencing upper back, neck, and shoulder issues. This is a nice way to let that arm bone with gravity fall back as far as it can in that joint, taking that pressure off the front of the joint, which is where the pressure is in the joint that causes a lot of the trouble, is in that forward part of the joint. Let's go ahead and take your knees into your chest. Rocking, giving yourself a massage. I want you to bring your awareness to the top of the back of your pelvis. And this is where your rotational muscles and the muscles that support posture and alignment, muscles that help you bend, help you rotate your trunk. That's where these muscles are. So go back and forth on the ridge of your pelvis, helping to massage where those muscles attach. That's where the tendinous part of the muscles are. And a lot of the pain that we experience in our muscles is at the area of the tendons. That's where that inflammation happens in the muscles, is where the tendons are. And then the tendons are where they attach to the bones. So we pull a lot on our tendinous part of our muscles in our practice when we're working on our bone health and stimulating our bones. We push on the bones and we pull on the bones. Let's come all the way onto your side. Take your hand on the floor. Make sure you're pushing away from the floor and you're not pulling yourself up. So really push and feel the muscular action of pushing. Come on to your knees. We're going to come standing. So if you have a chair there and if you need that to help yourself get up, you can go ahead and do that way. Always making sure you stay safe. That's what matters, right? Bones don't break because they're fragile or because you have low bone density. They break because of a fall. And I think it's 95% of all hip fractures happen from a fall. So let's make sure we don't fall, and let's make sure we move thoughtfully throughout our day. So we're going to come to standing. Let's come first into this position here. Use a chair if you need it or a wall if you need it. It doesn't mean that you're weak or you're old or whatever. Set yourself up for success. Bring your strongest leg forward if you have some weakness or balance issues. And if you don't, bring your weakest leg forward. Typically, it's the opposite leg of the hand you write with. Not always, but in the majority of the times.
So bring that foot forward, take your hands on top of your thigh, flip your back toes under, the body weight goes back onto that standing leg, and then you push forward, look forward, keep your head up as you load up that front leg and you bring yourself to a standing position. And then we're gonna clear our space. So when you bend down to clear your space, let's take your hands right here where your hips are. Take your hands where your hips are. This right here, this is how you're gonna bend. So let's just do a little bit of bending before we bend down to get our blanket, okay? Because I want you to bend properly, because bending improperly contributes to spinal fractures. And so we're going to bend properly right here where these beautiful legs of yours attach onto your beautiful body, right there. Like you have raw eggs there that you're gonna crack. So do a little bit of this, push the tushy back. Push the tushy back, right? So it's not the knees. I don't even want you to bend your knees, actually. I want you to start with a bent knee, slightly, okay, slight, not crazy bend knees. Slight bend, and now I want everything to happen here at your hip. Keep your throat, keep your chest open. Bend, flat spine, or actually neutral curved spine, okay? Now I want you to take your feet as wide as your mat when you do this. You can take your toes out to the side if you'd like, and then push your tushy back. Push your tushy back. Maybe that be what's happening, is you're pushing the tushy back when you bend the hips, okay? Now bend the hips, bend your knees, reach down and get whatever you need to get down to move out of the way. This is the way you safely bend when you need to pick things up. This is the way you garden. It's the way you move safe throughout your life. Let's come onto the chair to begin and grab a strap. And grab a block. A strap and a block. A strap and a block, okay? So we're gonna begin on our chair because many of you are sitting throughout your day. Almost all of us are, right? So let's learn some things that we could do on a daily basis. So first, come up to your chair, let your back go up against the chair. For most of us, it hits right around the bra line area or right around the heart. And this is a great way to stretch our spine. And so you're gonna come all the way to the back of the chair. Now, what happens with posture is often people are sitting like this. I was watching these men. Where was I yesterday? I was somewhere and I looked over at the men. Oh, I was at the doctor, the pain doctor with my mother. And this is the way the guy was sitting. His tushy was so far away from the back of the chair and his thoracic spine. So you know what that means? That means if he were to sit upright, probably this is what his posture looks like, right? So let's push the tushy back the most. Tushy, low back goes back, and then you get your middle body. So throughout your day, if you're sitting, that's a little posture awareness piece is, am I tushy away and heart is back? Or do I have tushy back, heart on top of pelvis, okay? So then come sit back, clasp your hands like this behind your head, clasping your hands behind your head, elbows are out to the side. Let the chair help to create a nice back bend. And push your tushy into the chair. So really push your tailbone and your tushy into the chair and open up your elbows to the side. Create as much stretch as you can in your body that feels appropriate. Deep breaths to your belly. And then take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself away from the chair. All right. Now come forward, so you're not up against the back of the chair anymore. Come forward, take your hand on your body. This is Tadasana, mountain posture. It's in almost every posture we ever do. Very important for bone health. Reach your fingers down, push your hands back, have your legs at hip distance. So they're not wider and they're not closer together. Hip distance. Hands down alongside your body, push your hands back. So they're not alongside your body, they're pushing back. And then find alignment in your body. Feel your pelvis in the chair. Try to see if it feels equal. And then start to stack your 26 vertebrae like 26 fine porcelain teacups. Find Tadasana in your posture right now. From the tailbone to the crown of the head, push your hands back. Lengthen yourself. Pull space in your spine between each saucer and each teacup. Make sure your chin is parallel to the floor and push your head back on top of your spine. Stay here. You should be in a place where you're feeling tension. You're aligning your spine, most of us, and I work on this stuff all the time, not only by teaching, but throughout my day, most of us have alignment issues in our body. So find this alignment here, and we are stretching muscles of posture and alignment, strengthening them to Tadasana, mountain posture. Take one more breath. Take your hands down alongside your body. Inhale up, like your head come up with your hands. Exhale, chin to chest. Only the neck spine is moving. Inhale and exhale. Palms turn down on the way down. Palms turn up on the way up. Come back to center for a second. Keep your palms down. Reach your arms up and see how high you can go with palms down. We can't go very high, right? Because this bone, it gets stuck right here. Palms are down, right? So come here and now turn your palms up, thumbs go back, and lift your arms up. So with all the shoulder joint issues that are happening, there's a lot of close off, forward positioned shoulders. And when your palms are up, when your thumbs are back like hitchhiking, that is when you have more of a freedom of range of motion in your joints. So it's quite often a matter of alignment that stops from being able to do things in our body. Okay, get your strap. We're stretching our upper body so that we can bring in some of those postural and strengthening aspects of the standing posture. Take your really long and then bend one elbow. One arm is straight. And bring your hand behind your head and then bring yourself forward. So this is going to be one arm at a time, then one elbow. One arm at a time gets really a deep stretch. This arm that's in the air that's bent, you're going to stretch the shoulder muscles and the chest muscles pretty deeply. So one at a time, a little bit more doable for people as opposed to two at the same time. Go slow. I like to close your eyes. If you do close your eyes, take your feet pretty wide and forward so you create a nice base so that you don't fall out of your chair. Little fall prevention, always. And then bring yourself back to center. Take your hands a little bit closer together. Let's bring the arms overhead. Let's do a little lateral movement, side to side. Think about one hand going up towards the sky. So really reach that arm up towards the sky. If the other arm bends, that's okay. Reach that arm up. So instead of thinking about the down arm, think about the up arm, getting length on that side of your body. Feel it wherever you feel it. The lateral chain, this helps to prepare our body for rotation, which is going to create stimulation in the vertebra. So getting a nice strong spine. Keeping our spine bones strong. And then go ahead, let's take that strap. Bring that strap off to the side. Make sure it's far enough away from you so when we stand up, it doesn't become something that gets in the way of you that can make you trip. Okay, so we're going to warm up the shoulders. Take your hands here, your thumbs are in the back. Get nice and tall, elbows are out to the side. Inhale. As you exhale, chin to chest, elbows come down, they come up. Chin to chest, trying to separate out one skeleton, one part of your skeleton from the other. So the arms, the shoulder blades, and the clavicle bones, independent of the skull, spine, ribs, pelvis, and legs. Two different parts of your skeleton, and I want it to be flowing. One more. And then bring yourself back to center. We're going to do rotation to warm up the rotational muscles, starting off slow. So when we rotate the spine, we're going to be rotating the spine. Most of that action, about 80% of that rotation, will occur right here where low back and middle back meet. Okay, so that's where we want that rotation. So just do a little bit of this right now, having your rib cage. Actually, take your hands on the side like this. It's your rib cage that moves. And notice how your legs stay stationary, Your pelvis is stationary, right? So let's soften up and loosen up some of those muscles. First thing, hands are on the thighs. Look over your shoulder. Come back to center, look over your shoulder. Okay, and notice what you feel in your body here when you do this. Notice if you feel moving in your joints as you help to stretch and realign them. For some of us, we still have the ability to be pretty mobile in the joints. We haven't allowed the cobwebs to get too thick, so there still is some mobility there. Now we're going to go a little farther, so let's take an arm with the head and then the other side. You know when you're backing up and you're in a car and you put your arm on the car to look over your shoulder? It helps to give you a little more range of motion. You could use the opposite hand on your leg as well here to get a little bit more of a twist and a torque. And of course, only do what's appropriate for you. And then one more, each direction. And then back to center. We're going to come up into a chair posture because it's such a great place to come into this. Go ahead and get your block. The block goes in between the knees. The block goes in between the knees and the feet stay block distance. Make sure your feet are not wider than your block. So you want your feet to be right underneath your block. So come to the front edge of your chair, the very, very front edge of your chair, and walk your feet closer to your chair. So the ankle joint is closer to the chair than the knees are. And then press your feet into the floor. So if you push down, look at a chair posture here. So if you bring your arms up, your tushy is on the chair, you're squeezing your block like crazy. Reach yourself long here, squeeze your block and push your feet into the floor. This is the shape of a chair posture. It's actually called lightning bolt, and you can see why. This is the shape we want to try to bring into our body. A little bit more forward now with your torso, you'll feel your glutes or your tushy cheek muscles turning on. So you're coming into more hip flexion, activating the glutes, the muscles that help that action happen. Push your feet into the floor, squeeze your block, reach your hands up. Feel strength in this. You're not just hanging out here. You're trying to create stimulation in your body. And then go ahead and come out. So I'm not there with you to watch you, but I hope you felt a lot. I felt a lot of activation in my muscles. Now let's take the arms down alongside the body, bring yourself forward, squeeze the block, push the feet into the floor, and just lift your pelvis off the floor, the pelvis off the chair a little bit. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Lift your arms up, push your tushy back, squeeze your block. 30-second hold here for our chair posture. Deep breaths, let the breath help you. Protect your low back, push your belly button to your spine. Really reach out the fingertips, look up. One more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself all the way up. Keep your block nearby. So you either use a chair or not. You use the chair if you need it for balance. And then come onto your feet. Let's warm up the low body. We did the upper body. So I'd like you to find a swaying action in your hips here. Lock your feet on the floor. So your feet stay on the floor and you move your body weight side to side. And you'll notice that my torso is not moving a whole heck of a lot, but my hips are. Push your hip over to the side. Really try to feel as one waist gets shorter, one side waist gets shorter, the other side gets shorter. And be in your heels here, even lift your toes off the floor so that you're very lateral and posterior, side and back focused. Because we really do a lot to that hip joint, a lot of stimulation in that hip joint. You can even put your hands on your waist. And then let's come to the feet. Flip the toes under. You may need to use the chair or not. Have your foot back quite a bit if you need to. I'd like your toenails to be touching the floor. You're not just on your tippy toes. And then bend the knee and straighten. So you feel the top of your foot stretching. Bring your foot to the side.
Stretch the heck out of the side of the foot, the ankle joint. So push where the ankle and the heel on the floor, get a nice stretch in your foot there. And then let's do the same thing with the other foot. Foot is back, toenails touch, all 5 of them, even the pinky. Bend, straighten, bend, straighten. This is for balance, for a nice firm foundation. And then go ahead and side of the foot. And then prancing like a horse. Make sure the toes are bending a lot. Toes, toes, come up on your toes. And then hold on to the chair or not, hold on to your waist, lift up and down, up and down. Hold on to the floor with your toes. So feel the toes pressing into the floor, and then you lift up. And then come up and stay up, walk around in your air high heels. Air high heels, all of the toes are touching. And then let's do a little bit of kind of a little balancing action. This helps to balance the fascia, get our fascia into a nice alignment position. So you're on your tippy toes. This actually doesn't put force into the joints. This is actually more fascial force when we're on our tippy toes. It affects our fascia. And when we're on our heels, do a little bit of more stomping with heels. You're going to feel that more in your joints. Okay, so tippy toes, like air high heels and air high light jogging. And then come back. All right, so your feet should be nice and awake for you. Let's do some balance. We're going to do a tightrope at first. Let's put the left foot back and the right foot comes forward. Right, so this is for fall prevention and balance, turning on the balance aspects of the body, because for bone health, balance is huge. So you want to make sure that you're on a tightrope and you're not out to the sides. The feet are not out to the side. All right, so the left foot is back, the right foot is forward. The feet are touching, and then your body weight goes forward, your body weight goes back. Hands are on your waist, forward and back, stay back. You're on the left foot, and then come onto the right tippy big toe, or the tippy toe of the big toe. You may stay here, or you may lift it up, and you may lift it up a little, or you may lift it up a lot. It's up to you. Draw that leg into the socket, hold the floor with the left foot, straighten your left leg at first. So feel the dancing that takes place in the foot and the ankle joint. Bring your awareness down to your left foot. And now I'd like you to put a bend in your left knee, and notice how it's the ankle that's moving and the knee joint. So allow that communication to travel up and down from the foot to the brain, to the joints, through the joints. Feel that strength. It's happening in that left hip, single leg balance, and then go ahead. So we're actually also strengthening the muscles and the bones of the hip. Let's take the right foot behind you, and you're in that tightrope alignment. When we do this, we're actually bringing so much awareness to the center midline. It's hard for the body to figure out, is she on the left or the right? The left or the right? Forward, back, left, right. So there's a lot of communication and a lot of figuring out, a lot of firing of the proprioceptive nervous system. So the legs are together in the tightrope. Hands are on the waist. You're going to go forward. You're going to go back. Right leg is behind, left leg is in front. And then come back and stay on that right leg. Grab the floor with the right foot. Come onto the left big toe, tippy toe. Maybe this is where you stay. Or maybe you're able to lift the foot off the floor a little. Or maybe you're able to lift it off a lot. The more you come to the right angle, the more work you're doing on the hip flexors, on the quadricep. And anywhere you are is perfect. So be okay with it. Because I am. I'm okay with wherever you are. And you need to be too. And if you're not there yet, you can be one day. Because I couldn't do this before I had my hip replacement or right after I had it. No way. I did not have the strength in my body for this. Grab the floor with your right foot. Leg is straight. Feel the dance in the foot and in the ankle.
And then put a bend in your right knee and let the right knee join the party. And then go ahead and bring yourself out of that. Shake your legs. So I'm going to say that today's class has a lot of aspects of fall prevention, which is something we're working on as well. And I don't know about you, but my quads feel what we just did, my glutes from that chair posture, and my hip flexors. All right, let's find Tadasana, mountain posture. Toes are closer together than the heels because of the nature of the shape of the foot. Their toes are pointing forward. Hands are down alongside your body, and find that hitchhiking position in your hands. And then imagine your hands have weights on them, like 10-pound weights, 2 off of each finger and thumb. And they're reaching down to the ground, and then push them back. And then feel your feet in the floor. Feel how nice that feels, nice firm foundation. Your ankles, then your knees are stacked on top of your ankles. You might need to push them back a little bit to get that. Then bring your awareness up to your pelvis sitting in your hip joints. Then bring your awareness to your tailbone and push your tailbone down so it goes right towards the center of the back of the heels. And that helps to find that nice alignment in the pelvis. And the hands are back, being pushed back. And then your core, let's think about your core as a tube of toothpaste and start to squeeze the toothpaste and squeeze it up underneath your rib cage. Find that beautiful stacked position of your spine, 26 teacups and saucers. And then your chin is parallel to the floor. And take some deep breaths here. Relax your hands. Bring your hands onto your waist. Let's push the body onto the left foot. The body weight onto the left foot. Come onto your right tippy toes. Let your right knee move out to the right. And grab the floor with your left foot as you bring your right foot up in between your left ankle and knee. Push your right foot into your leg. Feel that activation. And then again, contract your core and stack your teacups. Look at something that does not move. Find a focal point. And then go ahead. Slowly come out. Bring your right foot back down to where it was in your Tadasana. Find your Tadasana again. Hands are down. Feel the feet in the floor, stacking your joints, aligning your teacups. And then bring your hands onto your waist. Push your body weight to the right foot. Come onto the left tippy toes. Left knee goes out to the side. You bring the left foot up in between right ankle and right knee. Push the left foot into the right leg to feel the right leg bone in the foot. So feel it as you push in. And then find that alignment. Activate your tube of toothpaste. Stack your teacups. Find your focal point. It's called drishti, your focus. Bring your knee forward. Bring your foot down. Find your Tadasana, mountain posture. Reach your hands down, push them back. Feet are in the floor. Stack your teacups. Squeeze your toothpaste. We're going to move into a warrior 3. So you may need to turn towards the back of your chair or be near a wall. So we're going to begin by being near the chair. I'll show you what this posture looks like. So a full warrior 3 posture
would be this. You don't have to go to the full expression. You may be anywhere along that way. When we come into the warrior three, we're loading up the hip joint in flexion. So it can be pretty intense. So let's come to the Tadasana posture. You have Tadasana in your body. That's the mountain posture, Tadasana. You're going to push your body weight over to your right foot. You're going to begin with right. And you're going to take your left foot behind you. Let your left tippy toes touch. And let your inner thighs be close to each other. Your hip lights are pointing down towards the ground. So you're coming with your hands down into Tadasana. Keep your throat open. Bring your body weight onto your right foot. Flex your left foot and lead with the left heel straight up towards the sky. As you tip forward, keep your arms alongside you. So it's actually more of an airplane, but it's the warrior three hip position. So go to wherever you can. You may go full expression, which I showed with the arms out. Or you may stay in your airplane. Your foot may barely be off the floor. Or it may be pretty high behind you, whatever it is. Load up that hip joint in flexion. Keep your throat open, keep your spine long, keep very active in your feet. Lengthen your spine. Take one more breath. And then you're going to bring yourself back up. You're going to put your foot in the ground. It does not matter how far you go into these postures. You're loading up with this range of motion, putting a lot of force from many different angles, and it's all good. Take your hands down alongside your body. Find your Tadasana mountain posture. Feet are on the floor. Hands are alongside your body. Then you're going to push your body weight over to your left foot. You're going to bring your right toes behind you. Inner thighs are close towards each other. You're going to begin to load up that left hip, tipping forward, flex the right foot, and come into your flexion. Keep your throat open, spine is nice and long. So from this position, you may get a little not quite as low because we're coming in with perfect alignment, and we're gonna really keep a really good function in our body. So be okay with wherever you are. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other. Throat is open. Lengthen your spine here. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back up. Shake your body. So that's something I'm working on for my own body, is loading up with flexion. And because I have a hip replacement on the left side, I don't have that range of motion to come all the way down the same way I do with the right leg. So I stand in my kitchen with my hands on two countertops, or one on the refrigerator, one on the countertop. And I flex properly, keeping my spine in alignment to see where I can go. And of course, if you're holding on to something, it's a lot easier to load in a little deeper. So lots of hip stimulation there. Okay, let's stay with this straight leg, hip joint compressive force for hip and pelvic stimulation. We're going to come into our our triangle posture. So for some of you with the triangle posture, some of you may need to be on a chair. Some of you will be able to have your hand on your legs, and some of you may want to have a block. Okay, so whatever it is, you want this nice long presentation in your body. You want to make sure you're not bending your body to try to touch something. So let's set ourselves up. Have a chair if you need a chair, have a block if you need a block, or have nothing. Whatever you'd like. I'd like you to start with a pretty wide stance, and let's do a little movement here to get the pelvis nice and warm. So it's rib cage and head are staying stationary. I'm trying to take this pelvic aspect and move it around, and so I feel all the stretching in different parts of my hips where my legs attach. So move in whatever way, even side to side. Okay, we're gonna come into the triangle posture. So let's bring the foot off the floor, keep the legs straight, and turn the toes in the direction you're gonna be moving in. And then pick up the back heel. And so your feet are pressing into the floor. You find that Tadasana or mountain posture in your body, find that. Even with the legs in this position, you find that Tadasana here. Take your hands down alongside your body. And then you're gonna inhale with resistance to bring your arms up. The back foot, we took the back foot back, hopefully. All right, look over the right fingers and then push the pelvis away from you as you bend in your hip. So let the low belly come closer to the top thigh before you bring your hand down, either onto the chair, onto your leg, or onto a block. And then you want to be rotating, spiraling your body forward. So whatever it is you're going to do, push your feet down and grow out of your pelvis. Feel stretch and strain. So feel the effort, the ease in this posture here. Smile. Push away from the floor with your feet. And then find that resistance up in your body as you lengthen. One more breath. And then bring yourself back up. Let's go to the other side. Move the props over if you're going to be using the props. Doing what's appropriate for you. A little bit of tension release. Moving your pelvis around. And then pick up the opposite toes. We're moving in the opposite direction now. You moved your props if you needed to. You're going to bring your foot to face in that direction and your heel away from you. You're going to bring yourself into that Tadasana. Really reach down with your hands, get that nice alignment. And then you're going to inhale to reach your arms up. Reaching away from you, you bend at the hip joint. So try to get the low belly to come closer to the top thigh. And then when you can't go any farther, you either go onto a chair or a block or onto your leg, whatever is available for you in your body. Deep breaths. Smile. Push your feet into the floor. Draw that energy up and then lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And rotate. One more breath. And then push your feet into the floor and bring yourself up. Shake that tension out of your arms. Shake it out of your legs. We'll do another straight leg posture. The force today is with that straight leg pressing into the hip joint. So we're going to come into a half moon posture and another angle to be loading up the hip for it to take all that force, right? We've done that with the Tadasana. We've done that straight on with the tree posture. Then when we came forward with that hip flexion loading, my left leg. So I'm going to try to show you my left leg. But we loaded up that hip in the forward fold using a lot of the muscle strength there and really affecting that posterior hip capsule. Now we're going to come into an externally rotated position. When we come into that Ardha Chandrasana posture, we're actually loading up the hip now from a different location. So you're either going to use a chair for this or a block. And it's also a good idea to be near a wall so that this one is a really strong balance posture. And it's not a position we normally are in when we're in this position. That's why it's so important that you make sure you're stable. That's why I recommend finding a wall. And it really, no matter who you are, I've watched so many people stumble out of this one, and even people that have a really strong practice, and myself included, this, even though I have pretty strong balance, this also sometimes
that's not the case. This posture that we're going to do, I did this on my hip replacement leg 9 months after my surgery. I was in this class teaching yoga for osteoporosis at Torrance Memorial Medical Center, and I was in the middle of the room demoing this posture. And I usually always did it on my right leg because that was my natural hip side, and I did it on my left, and I actually came up into this. So that was very exciting, 9 months post-op to get to the place where I could do this. But I couldn't do it at one point, so it's possible to build. It's possible to build. The astronauts do it. They come back from space with osteoporosis, and diet and exercise gets them back to not osteoporosis. Okay, so you're gonna have your feet pointing forward, the toes are pointing forward. Let's take the block onto the floor or the chair, whatever it is you're gonna use. So the toes are parallel to the floor or to the wall, or that's a really good thing to do as a wall. So you're gonna load up first. So feel yourself loading up on that leg, and then you're gonna lift the other leg with muscular effort. Bring your hand up. And what you really wanna make sure is that the leg stays parallel to your body. You can straighten the leg if you like, or keep it bent, whatever. The top leg, make it very active. So I've actually got a wall behind me here. I have my fingernails touching the wall. My body's not, but my fingernails are. So there's a little bit of support, yet it's still pretty strengthening. And keep trying to point your hip lights forward. Lift that leg, flex the foot. Take one more breath. To come out, you bend the standing leg, and you roll yourself so your hips face down towards the ground. Really bent lower body. Try to keep that back in its nice neutral shape when you do this. If you're gonna go to the other side, let's come and do a little Tadasana, or a mountain posture in between, to find alignment in the joints. So find alignment, find a Tadasana. Toes are closer than the feet. Feel both feet into the floor. Feel the ankles, the knees. Maybe you need to push them back a little bit. Find your pelvis, and now find your tailbone. Point the tailbone down in between the back where the heels are. So that helps to correct the position of the pelvis. Push your hands back so that they are going backwards. Contract your core. Squeeze your toothpaste up underneath your rib cage. Now with this posture, Tadasana, mountain, you can start to explore closing your eyes. So when you get a little more secure with your balance, eyesight is one of the factors of balance. So in your Tadasana with 2 feet on the floor, see if you could start to close your eyes and let the body find balance without the visual. Of course, make sure you're safe, near something, or that this is appropriate for you. Take one more breath. Active mountain posture. Stacked spine, activated core. And then open your eyes and bring yourself out. So my goal is to be your guide and for you to know what's appropriate for you so that you set yourself up for success in whatever it is you're doing, whether you have the props that you need or you're near a wall. So let's take the prop that you're going to use, the chair or the block. Let your foot face in that direction. The pinky toe edge is parallel. And then load up that leg so you're nice and loaded. And bending the hip, whenever you're going to bend down forward, don't let it be just the knees that bend, and then don't try to round your spine. If you bend your hips, that's where the downward movement will go, and the spine will stay in its natural curves. So bend your hip. Your knee could be bent as well if you'd like. And then you're going to load up, flex that foot, and then lift your leg. So flex the foot that's lifting. That makes it very active, activating your core.
And then the hand goes up. That leg is lifting as high as your body. So keep lifting that leg up. Try to turn your pelvis forward so your hip lights point straight ahead, not down to the ground. And lift that leg, working the side body muscles that support your hip. Take one more breath. And then to come out of this, take the tension out of that standing leg. Keep your head up as you roll out of that hip to come forward. Bring yourself up. Let's find that Tadasana posture one more time. Toes are not too far apart. Hands are down alongside your body. Stacking your joints. Stacking your spine. Push your head back. Squeeze your core and be nice and tall. Look forward at something that does not move, or to the center of the movement. One more breath. And bring yourself out. So the practice of yoga is so deep. And when I ask you to find that alignment and take on the shape of a mountain, this is for you to develop this sturdiness in life, to not just think about strengthening bones, but strengthening your confidence in your body as you age. So that's one aspect of it. The focus point that you're trying to look at is to let everything else stop in your life and be focused here. And then in the practice, we're creating stress. We're putting ourselves in a stressful situation and having to breathe or direct our mind to this specific moment so that we can manage whatever we need to manage in that moment. So it brings you from the past and the future to the present, which is the only thing that is real. So for those of you that are wasting your life thinking about what was or what will be, this is the only thing that's real. This is where we live, is right here in this present moment. All right. Lots of wisdom in this practice. It's not just an exercise, it's a work in. Okay, we're going to come down onto the ground. I'd like you to get your blanket, please, and your block. So you have your blanket and you have your block. Now, when we go down onto the ground, let's think about spreading our legs a little bit. Let's think about bending our knees and our hips a lot to come down onto the ground. There are actually ways to learn how to get up and down properly, okay? It's a thing, and it should be a thing. Okay, let's bring yourself onto, actually, let's come onto a nice plank position here. Keeping with that linear Tadasana, we're gonna find Tadasana here in our plank posture. So let's take your hands forward. Now with the plank, you can be up, you could be modified, or you could find the plank in your dolphin. So these are all ways to find plank position. So whatever one works for you, let's take the hands on the floor. Need to look at my timer to make sure. Okay. So let's take our hands onto the floor. Take one leg back and then the other leg back. Find that nice Tadasana posture here. So your feet, your ankles, your knees, point your tailbone down in between your heels. And then activate the core, squeeze up underneath the ribs and lengthen all 26 vertebrae. Stacking your teacups here. So the front of the teacups, all of them are spilling water out the front edge. And then nice long neck. Push away from the floor with your hands. Push away from the floor with your feet. Feel that strength in your body. Deep breaths. Let the breath help you. Last breath. Bring yourself down. Let's take the wrists. Shake your wrists here. Let's take the blanket to the top of the mat. Bring yourself to the side, coming down safely. Hand reaches away from you. Bring yourself all the way down. Take your body really long to stretch, stretch, stretch. Point your toes to the floor. Palms face each other. Thumbs touch the ground. Get nice and long here, getting yourself nice and aligned. And then let's go ahead and bend our knees. We're going to do a bridge posture here. We're going to put some force in the back of the spine, strengthening the spine. Bring your block between your legs. Take your blanket away from your head. Reach the back neck nice and long. And then bring your arms down alongside your body. And then make your upper body more narrow. So slide the shoulder blades towards the center of the spine, making yourself more narrow. Walk your feet closer to your body. So the heels are right where the middle of the tushy cheeks are. They're not as wide as your body. They're closer together than you think. Squeeze your block and then press the low back into the floor so you feel that top edge of the pelvis touching the floor. And then press the low back into the floor, press the top edge of the pelvis into the floor, squeeze the block, squeeze the tushy, and then start to peel your spine away from the floor. Push into the floor, lift your pelvis up. Halfway up, slide the shoulder blades closer again, but more narrow. And you could put your palms into the floor if you'd like. Pushing into the floor, lift your pelvis as high as you can. Squeeze your block, squeeze your tushy. If you know how to clasp, if your hands are pretty close together, you could reach down and clasp. The goal here is that you're not resting on your upper arms. So don't let your rib cage rest on the upper arms. Many people cannot clasp without getting clearance of their upper arms. So putting the arms straight, pushing into the floor is just as effective for your body. Really at a deep back bend here. Squeeze the tushy, squeeze the block, lift the pelvis, and then press the heart up towards the nose. Push away from the floor with your hands and your feet. Squeeze your tushy. Take one more breath. And then when we come down, let it be really slow. Slow. Place one bone at a time on the ground. Then lift the heels off the floor. Try to press the low back into the floor before that top edge of your pelvis touches. Then feel the top edge of the pelvis touch. Then feel the weight rocking towards the sacrum and the tailbone. Take the block out. Draw one knee in. Grab your blanket. You'll need your blanket behind your head to feel a little bit better here. And then draw the other knee in. Rocking side to side, feel that top edge of the pelvis touching the floor. Massaging that tendinous part of the muscles that rotate your trunk, that help your body bend, that support the back. Feel that low back press into the floor. We're going to come into our last posture of the day, which is Shavasana. Take your arms straight. This is a supine mountain posture. Alignment in the body. Let your legs be nice and long. Make sure you're comfortable here. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. And now it's about letting go and focusing on your breath. Stay with your breath. Let your mind be in this present moment. Feel your body. Notice what you notice in your body. Notice the breath moving in and out.
고민내 모간대 우다래 아파래 아리양 카리양 내 맘에 아까매 고민내 모간대 우다래 아파래 아리양 카리양 내 맘에 아까매 고민내 모간대 우다래 아파래 하리양 카리양 내 맘에 아까매 고민내 모간대 우다래 아파래 하리양 카리양 내 맘에 아까매 고민내 모간대 우다래 아파래 하리양 카리양 내 맘에 아까매 고민내 모간대 우다래 아파래 하리양 카리양